A werewolf isn't always a human who simply turns into a wolf under the full moon. Across mythology, folklore, and modern fantasy, the creature has taken many different forms. Some are cursed humans, some become almost completely animalistic, and others have abilities that go far beyond ordinary shapeshifting. Here are 7 very different ways the werewolf has been imagined. Werewolf Sorcerer. This is one of the more fantastical interpretations of the werewolf. Instead of being defined only by physical transformation, the creature combines lycanthropy with supernatural magic. A werewolf sorcerer might retain human intelligence while transformed, allowing it to cast spells, manipulate supernatural forces, or use magic alongside its enhanced physical abilities. Unlike the traditional cursed werewolf, this version isn't simply a person losing control of their body. The transformation becomes another source of power. It's primarily a fantasy concept rather than a single established creature from traditional European folklore, but it demonstrates how werewolves have evolved far beyond their original legends. Wolfman. The Wolfman is perhaps the most recognizable werewolf image, a creature standing between human and wolf. Unlike a completely transformed animal, the Wolfman keeps a distinctly humanoid body, usually with a wolf-like head, fur, claws, fangs, and an enlarged physical form. This appearance became especially influential in modern horror and popular culture, helping establish the visual language most people now associate with werewolves. The important detail is that the Wolfman is not necessarily one specific ancient folklore type. It's better understood as a recurring interpretation of the human-wolf hybrid. And that distinction matters because older traditions often described shapeshifting in very different ways. Lycaon. Long before the modern Hollywood werewolf, Greek mythology contained one of the most famous stories of a human becoming a wolf. Lycaon was a legendary king of Arcadia who, according to the myth, was transformed into a wolf by Zeus. Different ancient and later versions tell the story differently, but the basic idea is clear. Lycaon's punishment connects human cruelty with transformation into an animal. He isn't technically the same thing as the later European werewolf tradition, but one of the most ancient examples of human-to-wolf transformation. And unlike many modern werewolves, Lycaon's transformation isn't presented simply as a recurring full-moon curse.
Feral werewolf. This is where the human side of the creature almost fades. A feral werewolf is driven by instinct. Instead of behaving like an intelligent human trapped inside a monster, it acts more like a predator. Its movements become animalistic, its posture becomes more aggressive, and its behavior is dominated by hunting, territory, and survival. This version works well in modern horror because the greatest danger isn't simply the creature's strength, it's the loss of human. A human who becomes a monster is frightening, but a monster that no longer remembers being human can be even harder to predict. Beast form werewolf. Take the feral concept further and you get the beast form werewolf. Instead of a humanoid wolfman, this creature can become a massive wolf-like beast, sometimes resembling an oversized supernatural wolf. This distinction is important because werewolf stories don't always agree on what the transformed body should look like. Some versions remain strongly humanoid, others become almost entirely animal. The beast form represents the second idea. The human identity is hidden beneath a creature that looks and behaves like a predator. And visually, this is one of the most extreme versions of the werewolf. Cursed werewolf. The cursed werewolf is the most familiar ideas in werewolf fiction. Here, lycanthropy is not simply a useful ability, it is a punishment. The person may have little or no control over the transformation, becoming a werewolf against their will and often returning to human form afterward. The curse can represent guilt, punishment, loss of control, or the fear that something monstrous is hiding inside an ordinary person. This idea is especially powerful because the werewolf isn't necessarily evil by choice. The real tragedy is that the human and the monster can be the same person. Infected werewolf. The infected werewolf changes the idea of lycanthropy from a supernatural curse into something that behaves more like a spreading condition. In many modern interpretations, a bite or attack from another werewolf can pass the condition to someone else. That creates an entirely different kind of threat. You aren't just fighting one monster anymore, every encounter can potentially create another. This version became especially popular in modern horror because it turns lycanthropy into something contagious, creating the possibility of an ever-growing chain of werewolves.
But unlike the ancient stories, this idea is largely shaped by later fiction and popular culture, rather than representing one universal rule of traditional werewolf folklore.
And that's what makes the werewolf so interesting. There isn't one single version of the creature.